Morning, everybody. This is a short video which is going to support the assignment for ACC5027 Decision Making for Business and Finance. The issue date is Monday of October, and you will have to hand it in 3 weeks' time on the 28th of October at 12 noon. You will need to hand this in through Moodle and hand it in electronically. We then will take 4 weeks to mark and moderate the assignment, and the provisional, it's only provisional, the provisional results will be issued in week 10, Monday the 25th of November. We're looking at the learning outcome as part of learning outcome 3. In particular, the assignment is appraising a long-term business and finance decision, a long-term project, and you're going to be required to appraise that project using the information in the assignment. The next page of the assignment brief will tell you that this is a 40% weighting, so it's 40% of your marks for the module. The remaining 60% are the summative exam in January. The assignment needs to be 1,000 words, and that's plus or minus 10%. If it's outside that criteria, there will be a 5% deduction in your marks. So if it is more than 1,100 words or less than 900 words, there will be a penalty of 5% of your marks. As it says here, the word count needs to be included at the end of the document, and we will test it. The coursework must be submitted in Word, so it's a Word document only, nothing else, just Word, and submitted through Moodle. And we do advise that you use a PC. Sometimes with Macs it's incompatible with Moodle, and we have had problems with some student submissions. If you're used to submitting through Macs and you know the protocol, then that will be fine. When you do submit through Moodle, you will get a receipt. It is very, very important that you keep that receipt. There will be a Turnitin. There will be Turnitin software that will be automatically applied to your assignment, and this will look for plagiarism. It will look to see if there is any similarity between your work, any academic texts, journals, textbooks, internet sites, or the work of other students on your course this year, or work that students have previously submitted through Turnitin. It is very, very important that what you submit is your own unaided work. Don't work with anybody else. It should be your work, working alone. You need to complete the document, as I said, in Word, using Arial as the font and size 11. Single spacing should be used at all times. You will need to number your pages. The assignment requires a report format, which assumes that there is a business, that the English you use is of business quality. So please do not use any slang, any text speak, any informality. It will expect you to use good grammatical English as if you're going to present something to your line manager. Marks will be allocated to the structure of the report and the use of business language. For Level 5 Accounting and Finance students, it's expected that you will use a range of sources to inform your submission, and these must be referenced using the Harvard referencing system. In total, there are 50 marks available for the assignment, and there is a full marking criteria at the end of the brief. What you need to do is to read the text carefully. There are a lot of words. Spend some time reading it, because you'll be expected to apply the information in the assignment. Do not make things up. Do not assume things. Apply what you see. and then use that as the context for your submission. In the requirements, as I've said, a report format is required. And just to recap, a report format, you would start with to, from, date, and title. This could be on a front page, or it could be on the top of your submission. You will need an introduction, and that introduction, it's useful to use the wording that is in your assignment brief. So there will be a paragraph on an introduction, and then the rest of the report will be subdivided using various headings. And again, you can use the subdivisions required in the assignment brief to structure those headings. And for the best reports, there will be some form of conclusion or end. Something to indicate that the report has come to its obvious, well, it's finished. When we look at the requirements of the assignment, excuse me while I get the view right. You have 3 subsections. The marks for each subsection are clearly indicated. Obviously, if something has 7 marks, you'd expect more words than if it has 4 marks. If it's got 5 marks, that will be less words than if it's got 9 marks. So you have a full indication of what is expected of you. Look at the wording of what you have to do. For example, here they're asking for an explanation. Now, for an explanation, what you have to do is make an idea clear to somebody, describing it in detail and revealing the relevant facts. It is not a definition, it goes beyond that. It is not just formula, it goes beyond that. It's saying what something means and making sure you include all the relevant aspects of it. Here, you've got to give some advice. So you need to actually say what you think the business should do. First bit is quite clear. Should they retain the old machine or buy a new machine? And then you need to consider if there's any reservations you've got to that advice that you're going to give, and consider 2 further calculations that might inform the decision. You do not have to perform the calculations. You just need to explain what they are and why they might be important. And then the final stage before you conclude your report is looking at another explanation of non-financial factors that the business should consider. The final page of the assignment gives you a detailed marking criteria. It breaks down where the marks are in a more thorough way. I will explain 1 or 2. For example, we've got in part B, students should be able to identify up to 3 difficulties surrounding the figures on which the decision is based. This has to be derived from the information in the scenario. Of those 3 marks, 1 mark will be given for a statement of fact, and then additional marks for any explanation surrounding that fact. The more detailed and in-depth the explanation, the more marks out of those 3 will be allocated. So, where I've said this on numerous occasions to my own students, when you're looking at a written piece of work, you start by stating the facts and then move on to explain what those facts mean. Similarly, in part C, again, you've got 2 other financial calculations that should be appropriate to the long-term decision. So there's 3 marks for each of those. Of those 3 marks, 1 mark only is for the statement of fact, Additional marks are available for explanations. The marking criteria also tells you the areas that we would really expect you to refer to your academic sources to bring in something beyond what we've covered in the seminars, using the seminar workbooks or the set texts, extra things. Similarly, down here, there could be an opportunity at that stage there. Well, all the best, everybody, and please talk to your module tutors, and we will be launching the assignment on Monday, and in the first seminar that you have after that date. All the best.